Yeah, hi guys. We are going to do an high availability lab. In the last class, we have discussed about high availability, right? So whatever we have discussed in the last class, we are going to do a lab now. Okay. Before that, let me tell you the prerequisites that need whenever you are configuring HA. You need to check few things whenever you are going to configure high availability on the Palo Alto firewall. Okay. So see this. This is my simple topology where I have two firewalls, firewall 1 and firewall 2, and I am using here. Let's suppose take Ethernet 1/4 and Ethernet 1/4 are connected to you. Connected for I have connected Ethernet 1/4 and both the firewalls for using for HA1, and for HA2 Ethernet 1/5 I am connected here. Okay, you can go ahead and use any interfaces, not only Ethernet 1/4, whatever the interfaces that are free on your firewall, just go ahead and connect and configure those as an HA1 interface and HA2. Okay, so before proceeding further, there are some prerequisites that needs to be verified. Okay, I already told this in the last class whenever we discuss HA topic. Okay, the first thing we need to check is both the firewalls should be of same model. Okay, both the firewalls should be of same model. Same model in sense whatever the firewalls that you are using here, okay, should be of same model. If you are using PA 200 series firewall, you have to use PA 200 series firewall here. And if you are using PA 440, you can use PA 440. If you use PA 220, you can use PA 220 here. Okay, so the firewall should be of same model, all firewall and firewall 2. And second thing is both the firewalls should be in the same panoise. Okay, should be in same panoise. Okay, so if we are using panoise version, right, every firewall has its panoise version installed. Okay, the panoise version should match on both the devices. Okay, if you are using 10.1 series, you should use 10.1 series here. If you are using 10.0 series, you can use 10.0 series here. Okay, so the panoise version should be same on the both the firewalls, and also the both the firewalls should have same number of interfaces configured, and also the same configuration. Okay, these are the three prerequisites that you need to verify while configuring HA. Okay, wherever you configure HA, these three prerequisites you should follow. Okay, you should check before configuring if both the firewalls are same model or not, if both the firewalls should be in the same panels, or if both firewalls should have a same configuration. Okay, how you can check the same model? You can check in both ways. Okay, you can just log into the firewall and you can check on the dashboard. Okay, you have an firewall GUI, right? In the GUI you can check on the dashboard, you can see the firewall model as well as panoise soft. You can see as a software version. Okay, software version should be of same. And how you can check the interfaces? In the network tab you will be having interfaces, right? So there you can check the interface. Okay, this is our prerequisites that we are trying to we need to check before configuration. Okay, and next thing, we can go ahead and configure. Let's configure on this firewall first. Yeah, see here, once you log into the firewall, you will see a dashboard, right? On the dashboard, you will check the model. Okay, this is a model where you are using PAVM, and also you need to check the if it is an VM series firewalls, you can check the model as well as VM license. Okay, PAVM with license VM100, and the software version that we are using is 8.1.0. Okay, so we have an PAVM model with software version 8.10, and I think this firewall I am unable to access. Let it be. Okay, you can also check from the CLA as well. Okay, there is a command called show system info. Okay, this is a command where you can check whatever the things that it is displaying here. Okay, it will be displaying in this show system info as well. Okay, if you click on OK, see here the model you can see here. Okay, see here the model we are seeing here as a PAVM, and the software version, this is the software version 8.10. You can check on the other firewall as well. It's the same command, show system info, show system info. This is a command where you can check the system information. See here the model is PAVM, and also the software version is 8.10. Okay, you can see the last one, right? Software version, that is 8.10. So our two prerequisites match, and we need to check the interfaces. Okay, see here I have only two interfaces here, which I am using here, and also you can also check on this firewall as well, but here I am unable to access this. I don't know. Okay, let's see. We can configure here. Okay, we can configure here, and we can see if we are able to form high availability between the firewalls. Okay, so if you want to configure high availability on the firewalls, just go ahead on the device tab. You will be having a second option. Okay, in the left side you will be having second option as an high availability. Before that, what we have to do is you have to enable the interfaces. Okay, whatever the interfaces that you want to connect between, that you want to connect it between the firewalls, you need to enable that. See here I connected ethernet 1/2 and ethernet 1/3. So what I'm going to do is I'm enabling, okay, I'm enabling these interfaces for HA. Okay, so if you want to configure these interfaces HA, so see here we have an interface type, right? In the interface type, if you drop down, you can see an HA. Okay, just click on that. It will be taking as an HA. Okay, this interface will work for the HA. If you want, you can also comment it. I am using this interface for HA1, and the link state, speed, duplex state will always be auto. Okay, for troubleshooting purpose, I made it as a down. Okay, and this interface as well. Okay, this Ethernet 1/3 I will be using for HA2, and interface type as an HA, and link. Okay, link speed, link duplex, link state is an auto. Okay, I have enabled this for HA1 and HA2, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure HA now. So here we have a high availability, right? First thing you need to do, and you need to set up. Okay, you need to do a configuration on the setup where you have to enable. Okay, you have to enable HA in order to work HA. So you have to enable first, and give the group ID. Okay, you can use a group ID here. You can use group IDs from 1 to 63. So these group IDs will be helpful to know what are the devices that are available in that particular cluster. Okay, so if you have, we can use maximum of 16 devices to connect to the HA. Okay, so if you want to connect all the 16 devices in one cluster, you have to mention the group ID as one on all the firewalls. Okay, so all, if you, this group ID is helpful to know if all the firewalls in one cluster are not. Okay, so group ID should be one, or you can use whatever the group ID that you want. Okay, I am using one. You can use anything up to 63, and here the mode should be active passive. Okay, we are configuring active passive now, not active active, because we don't have any asymmetric paths in our network, so we are not going with active active, we are going with active passive. Okay, so another thing you need to do is you need to enable the config sync. Okay, why we need to enable config sync means after forming high availability, the configuration should be synchronized between our HA1 and HA2. Okay, so that we need to enable the config sync. Okay, and here you need to configure uh, uh, you need to configure this IP addresses. Okay, HA1 peer IP. Okay, peer IP in the sense this is our peer now. Okay, we are configuring IP, we are configuring here. Okay, so the peer IP address should be this one. Okay, what we need to do is we need to assume one IP address. Okay, I am going to configure 192.168.1.1 as a peer IP, and backup peer we will configure later. Okay, we are just configuring only HA1. Okay, I'm not going with backup HA. I will configure later. Okay, so let's just configure peer HA1 IP address here. And the next thing you need to configure is a control link. Okay, control link, which is our HA1. Just click on this gear icon and the port. Okay, the port, which is the port that we have configured for HA1, that is Ethernet 1/2. Okay, select Ethernet 1/2, and IP address you can you can configure 192.168.1.2. Okay, the IP addresses, whatever the HA1 IP address that you are using, okay, that should be in the same subnet, because we are directly connected, right? Ethernet 1/2 and Ethernet 1/3. Okay, this IP address should be in the same subnet. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm using 192.168.1.0 network here. Okay, for HA1 I'm using 192.168.1.0/24 network, where I am going to use 1.1 here and 1.2 here. Okay, in the same way you can configure 192.168.2.0/24 network, and you can configure 2.1 here and 2.2 here, but you should not include HA1 and HA2 in the same subnet. Okay, don't configure HA1 and HA2 in the same subnet. The IP should not conflict, the subnet should not conflict between HA1 and HA2. You should use different subnet. Okay, here I am going to providing 1.0, and for HA2 I am providing 2.0, so our subnet will not conflict. Okay, so that is the reason I'm using 1.0 and HA1 and 2.0 and HA2. Okay, and also you need to mention the subnet mask. Okay, 255.255.255.0, and gateway, in this case no need of configure any gateway, because we are directly connected each every two firewalls, right? If you have any intermediate device in between our firewalls, you can configure a gateway. Okay, but here in this case no need of gateway. Okay, because we don't have any intermediate devices, right? And these are the things that you need to configure, and monitor whole time we are not focusing now, so just let it be as a default, and just configure these three things in an control link. And in the same way, go ahead and configure on the HA data link. Okay, which is our HA2. Here we need to enable the session synchronization. Why we need to enable session synchronization means whatever the sessions that are in the active firewall need to be synced with the passive firewall, right? Not need to sync, we need to send these sessions to from active to passive, right? So you need to enable session synchronization on both the firewalls. Okay, and the port that we are going to use here is an Ethernet 1/3. We have configured Ethernet 1/3, right? So here the IP address should be 192.168.1. Sorry, 2.0. Okay, we are using 2.0 subnet, right? So go ahead and use 2.1. Okay, and net mask is 255.255.255.0, and the gateway we are no need to mention, and the transport type as an Ethernet. Okay, and if you want to enable HA2 key values, you can also enable. This also will be helpful whenever the HA2 link goes down. So these key pillars will be threshold is an 10,000 milliseconds, means 10 seconds. Okay, for every 10 seconds, the key pillars will be sending from HA2 of firewall 1 to HA2 of firewall 2. Okay, it will only just action should be log only. It will be whatever the key pillars that are setting. It will be noting the log. Okay, whenever there is a key pillar sent, it will log the particular session. Okay, but for now I'm not going to use. Okay, if you want we can use that. Okay, just click on OK. And here, see here, the next thing we need to configure after setup HA1 link and HA2 link configuration, we are going with an election settings. Okay, why we need to configure election settings here? In order to elect active passive, right? So we need to go with an active passive. See here, here I want to make this firewall as an active. Okay, I'm using this I want to see this firewall as an active firewall one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, by default the device priority is 100, right? So you see here, once you log in, the device priority you will see is 100. That is a default device priority. What I am going to do is, on the other firewall also you can see the device priority 100. So on this firewall what I am going to do is I am going to configure less device priority value. Okay, and we are enabling preemptive also. Okay, I told you, right, preemption. Okay, whenever the active goes down, active firewall goes down and it is back after some time, it will take its active role, right? So that this preemptive will helpful for that. And also HA timers. Okay, HA timers we have three different types: recommended, aggressive and advanced. Recommended and aggressive will take the default timers, but if you want to make any changes in the timer values, you can go with advanced. Okay, it will show the timers, and these are the by default timers. Okay, these are default timers. And see here, these are the default timers. If you want, you can change the values as well. Okay, if you want to change the value, you can use advanced and you can change values. And you can see here flap max. Okay, it will be it will all it will be flap maximum of 3 times. Okay, and it will be showing that. So for now I am going with an recommended one. Okay, whatever the default values that we have, I am going with the default recommended one. Okay, and just click on OK. And these are the things that we can configure in HA. Okay, yeah. And we have configured the interfaces, and we have configured an high availability. Okay, so the next thing we want to, if you want to configure link monitoring and path monitoring. Okay, see here we have also discussed on the last class about failure scenarios. One thing is an link monitoring and one thing is an path monitoring, another one is an HA, right? And here the link monitoring and path monitoring will always be enabled by default. When it will be going to work means whenever you are adding the links interfaces in the link group, and the path, okay, the routes in the path group, okay, then only they are going to work. Until unless you are added, it won't work. Okay, if you want to add any interfaces, you can click here and mention the name. And if you want to add the interface, see here we have an interface column. And if you just click on this, and apart from this, these two are using for HA, right? We don't need to monitor HA links. Okay, we have separate thing to monitor the HA. Don't include HA links. Apart from HA links, if you have anything to monitor, you can mention here. Okay, for now I don't have any interfaces to monitor. I don't have any interfaces connected first. Okay, if I want to monitor any interface that are connected on the firewall, I can mention here. For now I am not going with any link monitoring and path monitoring. Okay, so this is general configuration of HA. You can just go ahead and commit this configuration. Let's try to configure on this firewall as well. What is this firewall? Show interface management, which is our 108. 108.8087. Yeah, correct. This is our 8085.105. High availability H1 backup interface configuration required. Peer IP backup address to be configured. See here something we did wrong here. Okay, what we did wrong? Yeah, we have configured H1 backup, right? So if you are configuring H1 backup, you need to, okay, you need to add the backup H1 IP address. Okay, so if the commit get failed, it will show the error reason for that. So based upon the reason, you have to act. Why it is not accessible? 8087. Admin. Here the configuration is committed successful, right? Okay, see here we have configured the HA, right? So if you want to see the status of the HA, whether it is acting as an active, whether it is an acting as a passive, you need to add an high availability here. Okay, if this high availability is not seen here, okay, what uh, yeah, see here, and here just I'm deleting this. Okay, once you log into the firewall, you will see the dashboard like this. We have only the general information, system resources, all the things. Okay, you have configured high availability, and if you want to see the status of that high availability on the GUI, what you have to do is you have add the widgets. Okay, we have an widget called system. In the system you will see the high availability. Okay, if you click on high availability, it will be showing like this. Okay, it will show the dash, it will have some separate tab for the dashboard. Okay, and here it will see here the local is acting as an active right now because we haven't configured anything on that other firewall, right? And also if you see the green lights here, that is configuration is correct. Okay, if you see the yellow light, maybe that partially correct and partially incorrect. And if you see the red thing means the everything, and whatever seeing the red lights, that configuration is wrong. Okay, in that case configuration will be wrong. Okay, let's go ahead and configure on this firewall. Okay, I'm not getting access to this firewall. Let me change the IP. This is a firewall, right? Configure, set device config, system, IP address 192.168.0.121. Commit. I will see what is 121. 8093. Yeah. Show interface management. 121 is there, and here I want to access with HTTPS 8093. Yeah. See here, I think I have already had the configuration here. Let's take a look over here. Okay, you can see the same thing. Okay, you can configure whatever the configuration that we have configured. You can also configure the same thing, but one thing you have to modify is the IP addresses. Okay, whatever the IP address that we have configured here, I have taken H1 as an 192.168.1.0, right? 1.0 network. I am going to configure same thing. I have enabled HA and group ID is same, and mode active active, and enable this configuration, but you need to mention 192.168.1.2 as my peer IP. Okay, this is my peer IP, which is this firewall IP. Okay, firewall IP in sense firewalls HA1 IP. Okay, and I don't want backup right now. I will configure it later. I will show you how we can use and backup. Okay, and here 192.168.1.1 with subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and here the backup also I will be taking off. I am using as none, and here the IP address 2.2, and that case 2.1. Okay, and next thing link. Okay, I'm not using anything, and I will do a commit here. Let's see if we are able to if you are able to form an high availability. Okay, yeah, see here, it will be seeing as HA1 down. Okay, but both the firewall will be acting as an active active. If you want to check the logs, okay, we can just now, as of now, we don't have any active. Okay, the firewall will not acting as an active passive, but here the local is acting as an active, and also the other one is also acting as an active. Okay, I have to show you in the GUI, but there is some issue with the my cloud lab where I cannot log in both GUI at a time, but I can log in CLI. See here, it will be acting as an active, and the other firewall also will be acting as an active, it seems. Yeah, see here, the other firewall will also acting as an active. If you configure active passive, the status also you can see on the CLA here. Okay, if you see here, it will be showing as an active, and this one is also acting as an active. Why we need to verify that? Okay, we are not forming an active passive, but we are seeing an active active, because this HA1 is down here. Obviously it is showing as an HA1 is down. Okay, HA1 is down, so that we are not forming any high availability. Why HA1 is down? Okay, you can just go ahead and look on the system logs. It will show. Okay, here there is one critical message where HA1, all HA1 links down. Okay, and also H1 backup link is down where when it is, yeah, the same time. And next thing, we don't have anything about HA. Okay, link change, we don't have anything about HA, but let's see the HA1 configuration. Okay, what is the interface that we are using here? Yeah, Ethernet 1/2. Yeah, see here, I made it as a down. Okay, that is the reason it is showing as down. I will make it as an auto and just commit this. Our HA2 link is up, but HA1 is down because I made it as a down. Okay, now the HA1 configuration, HA1 is up, and let's see the status now. Yeah, see here, in this firewall, we have configured the device priority as 100. Okay, currently which firewall I am logged in, I configured device priority is 100, and this firewall I configured device priority as 50. So this firewall, this information is exchanged via HA1 link, and it will be electing a active passive. Okay, see here, the local is initiating means we have configured an HA, and we, whenever there is negotiation is happening about HA active passive, it will be going an init state, and the active is peer is an active now, which is our other firewall. This is our first firewall which is acting as an active, and if you refresh this, it will be showing as an passive. Okay, this firewall is passive right now, and the other firewall is active. Okay, so in order to synchronize the configuration between the peers, okay, we have enabled the enable config sync, right? So we have to do it manually for the first time. Okay, if you see here, running configuration is not synchronized, so we need to sync. Okay, sync to the peer, you can do whether it is from active or passive, you can do the same. Okay, if you see here, the app, what are the things that is going to monitor is app version, threat version, antivirus, noise version, and all the things that are going to monitoring. Okay, these are the monitoring things. Okay, whenever it is whenever there is something mismatching happening on these firewalls, it will be going into the yellow or red. But whenever you see these things, okay, HA1 and HA2 are in red, you cannot form an high availability. Okay, these these things should be in the green always if you want to have HA configured. Okay, if you want to say active passive, these things should be in the always be in the green. Okay, if you this panoise version also. Okay, this panoise version also, apart from that, everything should be monitoring only, right? So if anything is mismatching between the these versions, okay, app version or threat version or antivirus version, if it is mismatching, it will just going into the not mismatching, and it will show the reason. But this will also sometimes cause an higher causing issue with the active passive. Okay, sometimes it is going whenever there is app version is mismatching, the firewall that are going into the non-functional state. Okay, if any of the versions, okay, if any of these versions are mismatching, it will be what are the firewall that is having the lower versions, that firewall will be going to the non-functional state. Okay, and if whenever the resources, okay, whenever these management resources going high, our firewall will be going into the tentative state. Okay, and I will show you the failover scenarios now. Okay, I will show the failover scenarios. I will log into this active firewall. Okay, what I'm going to do is, the first thing what I'm going to show is whether the preemption is working or not. Okay, we will test the preemption thing. What is the preemption? When the active firewall went down, okay, went down or crashed, okay, went down or crashed, it will be out of HA, okay, it will not participate HA. And what we did is we configured, and after some time the firewall is up, okay, whenever this active went down and it will be out of HA, right, at that time whatever the passive firewall that is available, that will be acting as an active, that will be acting as an passive. Let's suppose this is our active firewall, okay, this is our active firewall, this is our passive firewall, okay. For suppose our active firewall went down, okay, our active firewall went down and the passive firewall will take over the active, okay. Now this is a active, now this is active. So after some time our firewall, okay, our active firewall is up, okay, this firewall is up, and the firewall is up and added to the HA, added to the HA as active, okay, because we have enabled the preemption, okay, whenever the preemption is enabled, okay, whenever the preemption is enabled on both the firewalls, okay, whenever the preemption is enabled on the both the firewalls, and also whenever the active goes down, maybe due to some reasons, it will be out of the HA and the passive will be acting as an active, and after sometimes the firewall is up, our previous active, our firewall 1 is up, and it will be adding the HA as an active, okay, it will take over the active role back, okay. We will see this one, okay. We are testing the preemption, whether preemption is working or not. I'm logging into the active firewall now, okay, logging into the active firewall. Yeah, see here local is active means our current firewall is active and peer is an passive. What we can do is first we can synchronize this, okay. I'm going to synchronize the configuration between active and passive, okay. Synchronization is progress, right, okay. Once it is synchronized, it will show the synchronized, okay. Let it synchronize, okay. Yeah, see here the configuration between our active and passive is synchronized right now, and we can see the HA1 and HA2 is up, and the local is active and the peer is passive, okay. Now what I am going to do is I am going to do something on this active firewall so that it will be out of HA, okay. How can you can do this firewall will be out of HA means we can suspend this firewall, okay. We have an option, same in the high availability, you have an operational commands, okay. You can see the operational commands after configuring an HA, okay. While configuring HA you cannot see the option this, okay, because we are not configuring, we haven't configured HA. Once the configure an HA and commit the configuration, you can see these operational commands, okay. You have an option to suspend local device. If you click on this suspend local device, this local firewall, okay, whatever the firewall that we are doing suspending, it will be out of, it will come out of the HA, okay. What I am going to do is I am suspending the local firewall, okay, and let's see the status on the dashboard, okay. See here the status suspended because of the user requested. User requested means user has done the suspended, okay, manually suspending, and the peer sudden the peer instantly, the whatever the passive firewall that it is before, now it became an active, okay. Now this firewall became active because this firewall is suspended, it is out of HA, okay. What I am going to do is I am just again re-enabling the HA. Re-enabling the HA means I am going to add this firewall to the HA. Let's see whether it will take its active role back or not, okay, because we have enabled the preemption, right. See here we have enabled the preemption, okay. How preemption work means whenever the active firewall is out of HA for some time and will be bringing back and connected to the HA firewall, whatever the role it is before, it will take its role back. Okay, whenever the preemption is enabled. Okay, so before this local firewall is active and peer firewall is passive, right? So let's see. Okay, just go ahead and make local device functional. Functional means it will be adding to the HA. See here, it will be going to the initializing state, and the peer is an active right now. See here, this is connected as a passive. Okay, let's give it some time, and it will be renegotiating the parameters, whatever the key allows that and the H information. It will be renegotiate, and after some time the roles will be reverse. Okay, it will take its active back, and it will the peer should be passive. Okay, let it give 1 minute 60 seconds. Okay, it will be back as an active. Okay, and after this we are going to test one more thing here. We are going to test one more scenario. What I am going to do is I am going to shut down the HA1 interface. Okay, I will shut down the interface on any of the firewall. Okay, let's suppose take the firewall one, active one, and go ahead and shut down this. Okay, go ahead and shut down this. Let's see whether the two firewall will be acting as an active or not. Okay, I told you, right, whenever when the failover will happen, whatever the things that you need to check, you need to check first HA1 link is down or not. Okay, so I for for your understanding, I'm going to do an HA1 link down. Okay, let if the failover is happening or not, to test that I am going to make HA1 down, but in the real time scenarios we cannot do that. But we need to check what are the things that that are the what are the things that we need to check whenever the failover is happen. Okay, so here let's refresh it once. See, the local is active now, and the peer is passive. Okay, it take its active role back, and the peer is acting as an passive. Okay, now what I am going to do is I am going to shut down the HA1 interface, which is our Ethernet 1/2 here. Okay, not 1/4. Our in this case, our the Ethernet 1/2, which is using as an HA1. I am going to make it as a down. Okay, in the network interfaces, this Ethernet 1/2, right? You can see the link state. Okay, it is auto now, and I am going to make it as a down. Okay, just click on OK and commit the configuration. What did happen now? The HA1 went down, and we the firewall 1 will stop sending key allows, which is our heartbeat messages and hello messages, right? Stop sending key allows, and this passive firewall, which is our firewall 2, will wait for 3 seconds, and within the 3 seconds, if you are not receiving key allows, it will be acting as an active. It will take over the active role. But the our active firewall is up and running. It is acting as an active, but only the HA1 went down. If HA1 went down, key pillars will won't be able to exchange, right? So this one will also be acting as an active. Okay, if the both firewall is acting as an active, what is that scenario called? I told you, right, in the last class, if the both firewalls is acting as an active, we will be calling that as a with a particular name. What is that? Do you remember what is that scenario? Do you remember, or not? Yeah, the HA1 down right now. Okay, if the both the firewall is acting as, let's see if the both the firewall is acting as an active or not. Okay, see here, the HA1 is down right now. HA1 is down, but local firewall is acting as an active. And if I want to show you here, let's log in this. No worries, I'll try to log in one more time. This firewall I am seeing as an active, and I will see on this firewall as well whether we are seeing active or not. Yeah, See here, this firewall will also acting as an active. Okay, whenever HA1 went down, both the firewall will be acting as an active. See here, this is active, this is active. Okay, if the both the firewall will be acting as an active, that scenario is called split brain scenario. Okay, just remember that when the both the firewall will be acting as an active, that scenario is called split brain scenario. Okay, split brain scenario. And if the split brain scenario occurred, we can do the two things. Okay, if the ha1 went down, okay, you can check the interfaces, and you can bring back that ha. Okay, in this firewall the ha is not down, but in this firewall ha1 is down. Okay, that is the reason the ha1 showing as a down on the both the sides. Okay, so we can do the two things. Okay, we can bring back the ha1. Okay, or otherwise you can configure ha1 backup. Okay, the first thing you can do is bring back the ha1 or configure ha1 backup. Okay, or config h1 backup. Okay, so what I going to do is I will configuring h1 backup. Okay, what I'm going to configure h1 backup on management interface. Okay, I will enable h1 backup on management interface. Okay, see here, how can we configure h1 backup in the same high availability? We'll be having h1 backup, right? So here what I do is, in the port, go ahead and select h1 backup as an management. Okay, after configuring management, you need to configure ha1 peer ha1 backup. Okay, backup means I'm also going to configure management interface here. So what you have to do is, you have to use this management IP. Okay, copy this management IP and configure here. Okay, this is the peer. Okay, peer backup h1 IP. Okay, so peer backup h1 means whatever the management, I am also going to configure h1 backup as an management interface as a backup. So I am using backup management interface IP as an backup HAP. Okay, just click on OK. This is also window. This is one thing we are struggling with the cloud lab. Okay, I cannot log in both the files at a time. Yeah, you can just copy this, click on OK and save. And you can also do the same thing here. Okay, you can also do the same thing. You can configure h1 backup, and this, once the h1 backup configure, our all the h1, whatever the things that h1 is going to do, the h1 backup will be sending out to the passive. Again, they will be going to renegotiate the parameters, and they will be going to form active passive again once we enable the ha1. Okay, let's see. Same thing. Okay, device tab, high availability, general, h1, controlling h1 backup, management, click on OK. Sorry guys, here backup peer ha1 IP means 192.168.0.121. okay, which is our this firewall management IP. Okay, and just click on OK and commit. Okay, once the commit is completed, you can see on the dashboard the ha1 backup link. Okay, here we have only h1 and ha2. Once the configuration is successfully completed, see here, it will show the ha1 backup. Okay, close this, just refresh it once. Yeah, ha1 backup is came up, and it is renegotiating the parameters. The local is acting as an active, and the peer is negotiating. Okay, initially it is negotiating, and once you refresh this, the active passive will be elected. Okay, so we have done some configurations, right? We need to sync the configuration. So in order to do that, we need to do an configuration sync again. Whenever you see the configuration is not synchronized, okay, if whenever you see the running configuration is not synchronized, just go ahead, do it and click on sync to the peer. Okay, so that whatever the configurations that are not synced between active and passive, they are going to negotiate, they are going to synchronize in both the firewalls. Okay, refresh it once and see here synchronize. Okay, even though our ha1 is down, ha1 backup is taking care of. Okay, that is the reason we need to configure along with ha, you need to configure ha1 backup. Okay, so whenever in sometimes we don't know when the interface goes down. Okay, in order to avoid the what we call outages. Okay, in order to avoid the outages, these kind of outages, so if the see here, if ha1 goes down, both the firewall will be acting as an active active. Okay, when both the firewalls will be acting as an active active, the traffic don't know which firewall has to choose. Both the firewall will be acting as an active active, so the traffic does not know whether I have to choose firewall 1, whether I have to choose firewall 2. In that case, there will be there that will cause some big problem, and that will cause an outage. So in order to avoid that, better go ahead, configure ha1 and also ha1 backup. Okay, if you want to configure ha2 backup also, you can go ahead and configure. Okay, so this is the one thing. And if you have a link monitoring and path monitoring, I should have shown you, but we don't have that. But these are the things that you have to check. Okay, on the dashboard itself you can see, okay, whether what is the things that is causing. Okay, see here on the dashboard itself we are seeing ha1 is down. Okay, ha1 is down, so we need to check the system logs what causing ha1 is down. Okay, so and also check the interface configuration whether anything has changed. Okay, and see here the critical thing, whenever the both the firewall will be acting as an active active, it will show the peer split brain, right? Split brain has occurred. H1 staying in an active state, split brain duration. Okay, split brain duration is 363 seconds. Okay, so if you see this peer split brain, this is before. Okay, if you see this peer split brain, the split brain scenario occurred. Okay, split brain scenario means both the firewalls will be in active active. Okay, so if both the firewalls in and seeing as an active active, that is the reason where you can check ha1 is down or not. Okay, if ha1 is not down on the both the firewalls, and also you are seeing if the h1 is not down, and even though h1 is not down and you are seeing the split brain scenario, in the sense there will be any intermediate device that is configured between your firewalls and that went down. Okay, I told you, right? If any intermediate device is configured and that went down, there is no negotiation of parameters, right? In that case also, in that case also, the split brain scenario will occur. Okay, so you have to know whether ha1 is down or if there are any intermediate is down. Okay, you need to check that. Okay, and I think these are the things that we can verify, and these are the things that also uh, you can face in the real time scenarios as well. Okay, all the things will be available on the dashboard itself. Okay, all the things will be available on the dashboard. Just see what are the things going wrong and you can just manage those things on alone. Okay, and we have made ha1 down, right? That is the reason our for both the firewalls is acting as an active active. Okay, so you see here, and here one thing you have to note down is all the ha logs. Okay, for every configuration. Okay, for every topic or for every feature in the Palo Alto firewall has its own daemon where all the logs is going to store. For high availability, we'll be having daemon called ha agent. Okay, we'll be calling as an ha agent where all the high availability logs will be logged. Okay, so in order to see the historical logs, there will be a list command, right? For every feature there will be a daemon. If you want to see the historical logs for that particular feature, you can use the less mp log. Okay, for every feature. Okay, if you use the less mp log, that will show the historical logs, and after mp log you have to mention what is the daemon that you want. Okay, ha-agent.log. Okay, if you want to see the historical, not historical logs, if you want to see the live logs means you have to use the tail followers. Okay, tail followers will show you the live logs. After that you can use the mp log and ha-agent.log. Okay, these are the two commands where you can see the logs. Okay, particularly for high availability. Okay, this less mp log is for historical logs and tail followers is for live logs. Okay, see here, all the negotiations, whatever the negotiations happening, that will be in the less mp log ha-agent.log. See here, if you type two letters and use the tab, it will autofill the command. Okay, less mplog ha-agent log, it will show all the historical logs. Okay, wherever, whenever this firewall is up and whenever this firewall is configured with ha, all from that time it will be logging all the logs. Okay, you can also use this command for troubleshooting purpose. Okay, it will show the message header where it will be showing the information. Okay, whether it is sending an hello or not, or whether it is sending all the peers matching or not. Okay, all the parameters are not matching, it will show here. Okay, everything it will show here. Okay, and you if you want to troubleshoot the issue, you have to know the timestamp, right? Okay, you have to know the timestamp, and you have to filter at that particular timestamp what the happening on this ha. Okay, so that you can mention that. I told you, right, in the basic troubleshooting itself, if you want to troubleshoot any issues, you have to know the timestamp, and you have to know any changes done before this issue occurred, and how many users are impacting due to this. All the things you need to gather from them. Okay, if they mentioned the issue is on live. Okay, you need to go with tail follow s mp log ha-agent log. Okay, if the issue is live, it will be logging all the live logs. Okay, here, but the issue is not live, and we are perfect with the ha, right? So the logs is not getting displayed here. Okay, so if you come out these live logs, you need to press control c. Okay, you need to press control c, it will be back. Or see here, this is the live, these are the historical. Whenever you are using less command on the firewall, you can just click on q, it will be back. If you use any tail command, you have to use control c if you want to come back. Okay, tail follows, I am pressing control c, it will be back to the normal. Okay, these are some general things, but I have to tell you. Okay, if you type the command and it is not, you don't know how to come back, so it will be difficult for you, right? So that's the reason, these general things I'm telling you. Okay, and apart from this, anything else I can discuss here? Mm, yeah guys, that's all. Okay, anything that that in troubleshooting part. Okay, in troubleshooting part, everything will be available in the system logs. Okay, and these two commands. Okay, less follower and less mp log and tail followers, everything will be available in these three things. And if you want to see the status of the ha and active passive, you can go ahead and do see on the dashboard. Okay, it will be shown here. And if you want to see in the command, there will be a command called show high availability. Okay, there will be command called show availability all. Okay, it will show everything. Okay, whatever the configuration that we have made, and it will show the local information as well as peer information. See here, whatever the peer information that are coming from the other device, other firewall, it will also do that. Okay, and if you want, there are some more commands called show high availability, and if you press the question mark, it will show all the commands. Okay, if you want to check anything that is related. Control link is for the HA1. Okay, control link, give the question mark, statistics, give the question mark, that's it, right? Just click on enter. It will show all the this controlling static HA1 links. Okay, how many messages transmitted, how many messages received, how many hello messages, okay, hello timeouts, all these things available. Okay, HA1 backup. Okay, everything will be seen here. Okay, just give the command show high availability and give the question mark. It will show the things. Okay, whatever the things that you want, you can see here. Okay, if you want to see the high availability interface, it will show high availability interface HA1. Give the command, it will see here what is the command, what is the interface that you are using for HA1. It is an Ethernet 1/2, right? So it will show here. Okay, but particularly right now it is down because I made it as a down, right? So that's the reason it is showing as a down. And these are the things that you can see on the HA. And while troubleshooting also, you have to mostly focusing on the this dashboard and the system logs. Okay, with that you can identify the issue easily. Okay, so that's all about the high availability configuration and troubleshooting. Do you have any queries or do you have any questions? Okay, guys, I will take it as no. Okay, and if you don't have any queries, we can wind up this session here. And just go through this video once more and just replicate this HA in your lab setup as well. Okay, if you face any issues or if you have any questions or any clarifications, you can just ping me. I will help you in that. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. I'm stopping the recording now. Okay.